Welcome to the Politics of Everything. I'm Amber Daines, your host and podcast producer. This is a half hour of power, a podcast dropping every week where I unpack the politics of everything, from money to motherhood, nutrition to narcissism, startups to secularism, the environment, quality, and much, much more. Our guests are seasoned in the field or topic of their choice, even if you've not heard of them yet. This is a non-partisan show. So while I love exploring varied views and get a buzz from a healthy debate of ideas, this is not a purely blue, white, green program. Please subscribe, tune in and enjoy the politics of everything. AI is everywhere. It has impacted how we work and do our business as humanity. We're building communities and how we relax. All those things seem to be integrated into AI. I wonder how much you think about those tools that we seem to be using more and more in generative AI. I'm thinking of platforms like ChatGPT and Chatbots when we buy products and services online. Are they changing our existence? Today, as AI-based technologies become more pervasive, machines can augment our cognitive capacity and automate our complex decision-making processes in new ways. This has dramatically changed the way we work, leading to the fourth industrial revolution, some say. And I do question, is this what we want or need? My guest, Chris Wright, is the CEO and founder of the AI Trust Council and is leading a crucial mission against corruption in big tech government and the risks posed by AI. He comes with over 25 years of experience in entrepreneurship and the military and has a unique background as a US Army attack helicopter pilot, civilian commercial pilot, and CEO of several successful startups, making him adept at navigating complex challenges. As the head of AITC, Chris's commitment to positive change and forward-thinking approach are evident. He's dedicated to optimising digital trust online and mitigating the potential negative impact of AI. And with this vision, Chris aims to revolutionise the way digital trust is built and maintained in the world. So it's a huge topic, and I warmly welcome Chris to the Politics of Everything.
Thank you. Yeah, great to be on with you.
Podcasting remotely can be challenging, but it doesn't have to be. Since day one of the Politics of Everything, I have relied on Zencastr's all-in-one solution to make the process quick and painless, the way it should be for those of us who just love great content and want to get our ideas out into the world. If you know me, I'm obsessed with quality in terms of my guests, my sound, and everything about my show has to be great the first time. I'm time poor. It's so easy to use Zencastr. I'm not tech savvy and you don't need to be either. There's nothing to download. Just click on the link and off we go. Zencastr is all about making your podcasting experience easy, and with everything from local recording to automated post-productions now in their toolkit, you don't have to leave your browser to get that episode done, and done fast. I have a special offer for you, and hopefully you can experience what I have with Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my VIP code, the Politics of Everything, all lowercase and one word, to get 30% off your first 3 months of Zencastr Professional. How good is that? I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Interesting career background, which I've alluded to in my introduction, but what did you think you would do as a much younger Chris? Did you think you would have a military career?
Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I was always focused on. For some reason, I really loved the Army, and then and always wanted to be in business. And so I kind of picture myself as, being a commercial, serving the military, and then going on flying airplanes as a commercial pilot, and then doing something like low key as in business when I got older. But yeah, so it's. Yeah, I definitely didn't see this coming.
I think sometimes, yes, the future can just not always be predicted, but you obviously have had a very varied career and it's led to what you're doing now. Do you remember the period of your life where AI first came to your attention, that you sort of felt like, oh, this is something I need to start to pay more attention to?
Yeah, it was interesting. I was a contractor over in Dubai and Abu Dhabi for about 10 years, working for the UAE military. And I actually saw a lot of the robotic warfare, drone warfare technology coming into play around 2012. And I noticed that, AI weapons were being talked about. At the time, it kind of seemed really far off and very futuristic. And probably around 2018 is when I started to see like, hey, this is a real thing. And really it was around 2021 when you actually started seeing human life being taken by algorithm, meaning that you have drones that are launched. And this is in particular in Libya. The Cargo 2 drone system was used to take out human targets autonomously, meaning no human in the loop whatsoever. It's just an AI algorithm doing it. And once you start to see that, it's like, oh, wow, this is a completely different paradigm we're getting into. And it's and the adoption curve is basically straight up. So I started to get kind of worried around that time.
Interesting. One of the things that came across in your information, which I pre-read before our chat today, is this idea of speciation. What does that mean, and how does that tie into this idea, this concept, which is, I guess, our theme today of changing humanity? What are we really talking about here?
Yeah, this is actually extremely critical to understand and to focus on, because there literally is a split, and there are people that are very pro-human, and there are people that are, you could say, not pro-human and focused on speciation, meaning transitioning the human species into a new form, very similar to like a caterpillar to a butterfly, or how a species of an animal will change throughout time. And so I've had conversations with senior leaders in tech. There's a conversation with Larry Page and Elon Musk where they kind of got into a little spat about being speciest. And Elon Musk is like, okay, yeah, I'm like, I'm all about the human species. What's the big deal? And what Larry Page was referring to was that he's an advocate for the speciation, meaning that the changing of the human species through the use of high technology. And so, yeah, I actually tried to hire a guy one time, brought him over, and we had a conversation about this. And I tried to, just had him explain it to me. And his vision of the future is very, very different than what you might think. They actually, in the tech world, believe in that humanity is a placeholder for technology, and that our natural evolution is to transform. And what he was interested in was uploading our consciousness to a cloud. And so the idea is to take all available data, collect it, and then put it into some sort of digital cloud format that then can seed the universe with our consciousness. And through that, these guys believe that, as a human species, we can attain immortality that way.
Wow, that's huge and quite mind-blowing when you even when you're saying it, I'm like, really? Is this what people think?
Yeah. It's really weird.
It's not what I usually, not your everyday conversation over the water cooler, that's for sure. So what are some of the biggest ways that you are observing our use of AI changing the way we operate as humans? And I'm not just thinking in that really myopic task-based way, but as a functioning society, because there's an overarching impact rather than just that, I'm using this to make sure that I don't forget my shopping list, or I'm using this to actually get the best quotes for my house insurance. We're using it, obviously, but what does it mean?
Yeah, it's tricky because, like with any technology, there are pros and cons. You could look at fire, for an example. A lot of people have, senior engineers who created AI said that, this discovery of artificial intelligence is really equivalent to the discovery of fire or electricity or something like that. And so, like candles are nice to have at dinner, and fireplaces are great if it's cold. But, like with AI right now, what we have is a raging forest fire. And there really is no control mechanism to, control that the fire that's underway. And so what's happening is, one of the big things that people should watch out for is mental health. You have to kind of think about, IQ. You could look at an ant versus a human, today. And like if you see an ant crawling around your kitchen, you might just, smash it and just, wipe it up and be done with it. And there's an IQ disparity between a human and an ant. Well, with artificial intelligence, what's happening is that disparity is reversed. So basically soon AI IQ will be in the billions. And that's kind of hard to imagine, but it's already above Einstein level intelligence today. And so what's happening is that it is getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And so, the idea that we will, as humans, be taken seriously, our opinions and our needs, when you have this super intelligence that's coming, that's smarter than all humans combined on Earth. And so what happens is that intelligence will soon be on your cell phone. And so basically you'll have an avatar that will know everything about you, everything from the way your eyes move when you look at the screen, micro expressions, the tone of your voice, the tone of everybody's voice around you, their emotions. You can get, 7G technology gets into mind reading. things like that. And so literally it's an all-knowing being that will be on your phone. And so this thing has the ability to completely steer humanity pretty much any way it chooses, based on what it decides. And there is programming that goes into it, but ultimately AI is a black box, meaning that no one really understands truly what's happening on the inside of it. And so they kind of claim like, hey, we'll help train it and make it more human-like. But at the end of the day, this thing, has a mind of its own, very similar to a human, and it does, and it will steer humanity in the way that it feels necessary. So,
cautionary tale in some ways, I guess. And be careful what you wish for. Maybe we think it's going to make our lives easier, but we're obviously giving up a lot of control as well.
100%. Yeah. And so and so it's really our responsibility today. I mean, like all of us are in leadership positions, whether we like it or not. I mean, we were born at this time to be alive during, this transformation, and really the way that we approach this technology will shape the next, 1,000 years. And so the key is to make sure that we, use it responsibly and then, get critical with it. It's not just about profit and power. This is about the survival of our species today. So.
Absolutely. No, I think everyone needs to be thinking quite carefully about this. What are some of the ways that you're seeing AI being misused? And do we need regulatory controls and laws to stay at pace? Because I think locally and globally things are happening. Obviously, entrepreneurs are developing every day new tools and techniques for AI. But of course, our lawmakers don't necessarily keep up with it. And it sounds like a huge risk.
100%. Legislation usually trails like 2 years behind industry. So we're in the United States. I mean, these guys are really old. They have these, pro speciation type folks, who are very, very intelligent, actually guiding them on policy. So there's the pro human people need to step up and say, hey, like this is the way we think this should go. This is what we think is the best, use case for these technologies. And so, really mental health is kind of the main victim of a lot of this stuff. I mean, you can look at TikTok today and, people call it TikTok brain. But what happens is people's attention span just gets like completely zapped where they're just incapable of, kind of reading or, holding a thought for any period of time. And so with artificial intelligence, you're getting into where you're outsourcing your thinking to a device. And so, if you want to say like, hey, this is what I want to do when I grow up, or this is what, what I want to do for the day, you're going to have an AI that will tell you how to do that and actually probably give you very good advice on how you should approach your life. And so the issue is really balancing that mental health piece. A lot of that starts with kids, they're getting these phones in front of them at the time they're babies. And, it's almost like a pacifier. You see them at out to dinner, the phone is set in front of the kid's face. And the whole idea is that's going to really, transform the child's mind. And it gets really pretty destructive once it starts to get into porn.
Yeah, of course. And I think everyone's aware of that, it's like, what do you do about it though? I think is always the thing. It feels like it's just happening exponentially and you can put all the parental controls in there, but some reason, because everybody else is doing it, it just becomes normalized.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And it's easy, it's something that's easy. And so really, I think it's, on a lot of these safety organizations that are coming out and you actually can use AI technologies to make it safer, which is a total
Ironic.
benefit of it. Yeah. So it's almost like you have to have a, good AI to combat the bad AI.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally interesting and something I think a lot of families do grapple with children of all ages and stages of life. So what are some of the predictions that you have around AI and how us as humans will either accept or reject it in coming years? Right now, we feel like we're in that exploration phase where there's lots of things happening, there's lots of new tools, but we're still not really sure where we're headed. What do you see in the next few years being the main ways in which AI is going to really challenge us?
Yeah, it's pretty doom and gloom. It's like,
it's excellent. The uplifting chat we needed, Chris.
I know, right? Yeah, no, but you actually have guys, and this is something that people should really look into, and especially in the media, is look into the amount of people that have left OpenAI, either being fired or quit, and these guys are on the alignment team. So the alignment means that those are the guys that are trying to ensure that AI stays in alignment with humanity, and many of these senior engineers whose job it is to make AI safe have left out of fear. And one guy in particular, his name's Daniel Cocotillo, but he literally said that we have a 70% chance of going extinct, and humanity has about a 30% chance of surviving on the current trajectory. And he quit OpenAI out of fear. And so the idea is that, like, unless we get a hold of this very, very quickly, it is we're basically on a school bus that's going off a cliff, and so, like, we passed most of the exits, and we still have a couple more, but literally it's up to us in the back of the bus to be like, look, who's driving this thing? They need to take safety very seriously. And that's one of the big complaints with OpenAI is that they are not taking AI or safety seriously. Only 2% of their budget is going to safety research, and the rest of it is all going to development and rapidly trying to attain artificial general intelligence, which means that the AI itself will be as smart as a human. And then that's predicted to happen in 2025 and 2027. But all the predictions have happened much faster than they were predicted to happen. And there's even speculation that AGI is already here. And so what that means is artificial superintelligence is coming right after. And that's when you start to get that exponential curve where AI starts to develop upon itself exponentially, because it's programming itself. And that's where you start to get into the billion IQ issues.
It's kind of up to us to really kind of rein it in, maybe. I don't know. It feels like it could be a runaway train, but you've got people who know more than us about AI and they're worried. It's amazing that nobody else is in that same state of caution.
Yeah, it's really that fundamental split, like I was talking about. Like there are people that are very pro-human and want to see positive outcomes for humanity, and I've had interactions with these guys in Silicon Valley, and they are not pro-human. I mean, meaning they are pro. Like if they were to pick a team, they would pick Team AI, and you can even ask them that. Which team would you pick? And they're proud to say, no, I'd pick Team AI. And so it's just a different perspective. And so the problem is that it's really like the guys that played like these engineers that played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and like video games, and they live in kind of a digital realm. And so I've had conversations where they've said, I'm excited to see the end of humanity because at least I get a front row seat. I've heard that multiple times.
I mean, that's going to impact them and the people that they care about too. So it's just an amazingly confronting perspective in some ways.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And it's up to us to it's like the geeks are in the basement just going crazy. And you just have to say, look, like, you guys are going nuts. Like, you guys got to calm down and pause for the sake of humanity, for the sake of safety. My background's aviation. I look at accident chains, anytime there's an accident, there's clear indicators of mistakes that are made along the way. And right now we're just, glaring mistakes over and over and over on the safety front. So safety professionals should really stand up and get involved here, because it is going to affect all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Changing our conversation a little bit, I've got some questions I do ask all my guests. What's your favorite non-negotiable daily habit? It could be anything from exercise to meditation or something we've not heard of.
I'm usually trying to meditate at least every day, but the other one is Jamba Juice. I don't know if they have those out there where you guys
what's
are,
that?
but like they have them on the West Coast. Yeah, it's like a smoothie place where they have really healthy smoothies, and I think it's key to get your greens in every single day.
Oh yes, we do love that sort of juicing stuff here too. So I think anywhere that has a warmer climate, we do like to juice. So that would totally make sense. What's been your biggest life lesson to date, and why?
I would say, how you react to things is extremely important. You as an individual, you're in control of your thoughts and your actions, and so life will throw curveballs and weird stuff happens, but really it's about how you personally react to it, and that's something that you can 100% control, is what you think and what you act, how you act out, and so it's something that I've learned early on and always kind of kept in mind. So
that's great. I think that's great advice for anyone at any stage of life. And how do you define your own version of success these days?
Yeah, I would say I would like to see people happy.
Yeah.
So yeah. The more people happy, the better. And so, yeah, what I'm seeing in the world right now is that there's a lot of darkness, and it's almost like there's a bully that's out there kind of picking on the good people of the world.
Mm.
And, so it's up to us to kind of push back and be like, look, like you can't pick on us like this anymore. Like we want good things, we want good times, and we want a bright future. And that's the thing with AI is it's a total gift to humanity. So, it's how we use it. And literally it's the age of abundance. Abundance is right ahead of us. So it's very, very critical to just make sure we get through this transition safely. After this, it's literally like life is going to be more of a party. So I'm looking forward to it. But so happiness is key to the whole thing.
And just a final takeaway message for us today on the politics of changing humanity.
Really look hard at this speciation issue, and the people that are pro-human, that care about humanity. It's up to each of us individually to act. Going online and reading about it and complaining is not going to do anything. You actually have to physically, get out, say something out loud, talk to a neighbor, do something in the real world that pushes back. Because the agenda of these guys, like, they will not stop until you say no and you push back. And that's one of the key things is it's really, they're actually waiting for us to push back. And that's how they know their limits. And so it's, when it comes to artificial intelligence and the engineering of it, they're basically waiting for the population to say, hey, enough, like we're good, This is what we want. So.
Absolutely. It's been a fascinating conversation. Of course, if you do want to connect further with Chris, there are some details on the show notes. Until next time, take care. Thanks so much for listening today. If you've enjoyed the politics of everything, I thrive on your feedback. So please add a short review and share the podcast with your network through Apple, Spotify, and all the usual suspects. I'm always on the hunt for new and diverse guests, so if you or someone you know has a fresh idea you're busting to get out there, please email me at amber@amberdanes.com and my crew will get back to you very soon.